Welcome back to Spasm Fish, and in this video I'm going to build the overflow for the 250 back there. Yes, I'm still working on this thing. I'm trying to get it going, and every little piece gets me a step closer to getting it filled up. But we're building an overflow, and we're building the return for that. So I'll explain a couple more things as I get going. My overflows are going to be 1.5 inch PVC. And the reason I'm using PVC is because I will not be drilling the tank. I'm still not confident in doing that, so we'll build it out of PVC, and I'll show you guys how to do that and how I do it. And the return is very simple. The return is pretty much the same as mostly everything. You don't need to go through the tank itself, or you don't need to actually do anything special for the return. But I will show you how I'm doing my return, and hopefully this all works because I'm very anxious to get that built, get that up and going, get it filled up. Hopefully it holds water. I got to use, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, it holds water. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal. At that point I will show you guys how to reseal a tank, and then we'll go with that. But let's not try to do that. I'm having high hopes. I got that tank, that stand nicely built. And actually you guys kind of see here, this will be the filtration I have, which is a regular old sump, and actually one of these totes. I love these totes for everything, transporting fish. And in this we'll have a moving bed or liquidized bed filter, which will overflow into the regular sump, which will have a bunch of media in there, ceramic balls, ceramic, I don't know what they call them. They're rectangular blocks. And obviously the pump will go in there, going right back into the tank. And my two overflows that I'm building, I probably don't need two, but I'm doing two, will be right here. I'm going to make a hole here, a hole here, and I'm putting socks there, and we'll see how this goes. But you guys just love this stand. I'm actually proud of it. Like I said in the previous video, this is the first time actually finishing and trimming out a stand, and I'm really digging how it came out. So in a second I'll be back and we'll get going. I'll get set up here to get this PVC all cut up and explain a couple things. Also, so I don't forget before I have to move these, I did do a water test because I had to drill the sump here. Obviously I drilled this thing here, so I was doing a water test, making sure there's no leakage right there. So like I said, water, or the overflows, will go into this one, and then the rest, and then it will overflow through there into this one. Right now it's overfilled. I was trying to simulate when I shut off power, or if I lose power, how much water these can actually hold. Because my my operating level should be around here, which I calculated at 40 gallons. It might be a little bit more. I am doing something different. I'll probably explain in a different video, but on the back side of this sump will be another overflow, probably around the same mark as I have here, around there, maybe a little higher. I'm doing another overflow that will go out to my crawl space. Actually, I'm gonna drill out, put a garden hose. I don't need much for that because it won't be that much. I put a garden hose and I'll go out in my crawl space down to my sump, and that's all I can tell you right now. Well, I can tell you what I'm gonna do is do a constant water change, or a constant drip system, and I'll have to explain that later on when you guys can actually see it in action, because it's a little bit difficult to explain. It's better just to see it. So like I said, I figured I'd show you guys I did a water change, or a water test on these, make sure they hold water. Now I gotta drain them, disconnect them. That's why I put that connector right there. Disconnect them, and I gotta move them out of the way. Obviously they gotta go into the stand, but that will be later on. So we'll see how it goes, and like I said, I'll be back and showing you guys how to get this PVC overflow done up.
Don't know your name, don't know this feeling deep inside my chest. I'm going insane, but I go anywhere, it's your request. It's a blood rush, heart pump, red riptide. It's a current pulling my mind. Take me down, 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 down. I can never get enough. Take me down, 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 deeper than the ocean, love. Take me down, 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 down. I can never get enough. Take me down, 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 deeper than the ocean, love. Don't know what's next, just know the feeling that I'm sinking in. Last time I checked, don't know where your heart stops and mine begins. It's a blood rush, heart pump, red tide. It's a current pulling my mind. Take me down, 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 down. I can never get enough. Take me down, down.
Okay, here we go. So I got all my piping cut. I have the fittings I need, and I'll explain the fittings in a second. But what I need for my tank, I have 3 24-inch pieces. This is to make one overflow. I'm doing 2, but I have 3 of 24 and 1 of 23. And these 2 are to make connections, which you'll see in a second. There are charts online that'll give you an idea of what diameter piping you need for the gallons per hour that you're trying to overflow or you're trying to move. Now, with the piping I'm using 1.5, and this gives me more than enough for the pump I'm using, and if later on I want to upgrade, it'll be plenty. The reason I'm doing 2 is because if one overflow for some reason gets clogged, food or unfortunately a dead fish or something gets clogged in there, the other one will still keep up. If not, I'll be pumping more water than this tank needs, and it'll overflow. So let me explain here. We have, I don't know if you guys know, but these are street elbows and just regular 90 elbows. You got a T that we'll need, you got a cap that we'll need, and I'll show you how to assemble it and why I'm assembling it the way I am. So let's just start with these 2. Obviously, I am not gluing anything until it's permanent, or until I'm sure that's how I want it. But you fit these in there, and let's get this going right here. So I'll explain it a little bit, and now actually I finished one, so I'll show you how it looks done. I got 2 24-inch pieces right here. Both of these will be like this, overhanging on the tank. So this is the tank wall here, and this will go down. Now here, let's call this inside the tank. Here, I'm gonna put another street elbow with a regular 90. There we go. So this is what I'm doing. It all makes sense once it's in the tank, guys. And then this is where my 23-inch piece will come in handy. So I did 23-inch because let's say it's set up right now in there in the tank. Right here is how, I don't know if you guys can see it, right here, this height is how high I want my overflow. Now, this is just an estimate I'm doing. I'm hoping to have about 1 inch of air gap between the top of the tank and the water level. If I need to go lower, that's always easy. I just chop that down a little bit. If for some reason I went too low, I can actually add another piece and make it longer and adjust it that way. I'm not too worried about that. But let's get the rest of this. So right now, this piece is what you'll see inside the tank. You won't see this back piece. Well, if the back of your tank is painted black or blue or white, whatever color you want, then this is all you should see. Now, if your tank is not painted on the back, you'll see the rest of the piping. So this is the inside of the tank. And then right here, we'll come off with the elbow. Just a regular 90. And you can actually go either way. I'll show you this way. And then this is where my little short piece comes in handy. And my 90. And then another short piece which will go to the T. Right? So I'll explain this in a second, everyone. And then this is another 24-inch piece. Now, I don't know how it's showing up, but so this is now the back of the tank. This is the inside, this is the back. Then you have your T, and then your T is essentially where the overflow will drain going to your sump. I'm not gonna explain this too much to you guys because that's gonna be to your liking, the direction you need it. And you know, if you're gonna do hard plumbing, or there's adapters from PVC to hosing, barb fittings, you know. And then on top of so this is, we'll call this pipe right here the standoff, which this pipe needs to have a cap on it. So we'll throw a cap on the top here. Now, on top of this cap, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to drill a small hole. Always go smaller than you need, and then you could always go bigger. You can't fill in. So I will drill a small hole. If I don't drill this whole piping that I'm building will become a complete siphon. So it'll just drain as much as it can, and then when my power shuts off, there won't be any water in here. So, and I'll explain that in a second, how we're gonna fix all that. So first of all, you'll have a small hole here. Let's call it a breather. And if you make it too big, it's not a huge problem. It'll just make more noise. You'll hear more noise going through this overflow. And then too small or no hole, like I said, it'll become a siphon. And that's gonna be, I'm not sure what it's gonna be for me. Like I said, right now, I'm just gonna do a small hole. And then, once again, this is the inside of my tank. This is the outside. On the outside elbow, you could either do it in the middle, on the side. On the outside, I'm gonna also drill a small hole, and I'll explain that in a second. So this is your tank wall, and then what I'm doing is, the reason I was able to use a street elbow and a regular is because my tank wall fits right perfectly in here. It's nice and tight. If I needed to go wider, I'd have to use a regular elbow with a short piece like I used here, just to make it wider. But it so happens my tank is just the right size to fit in here. So the reason, once again, this is the outside of my tank. I'm going to drill a small hole here, and that is to put this little check valve. If you guys been in the aquarium hobby for a while, you should know what these are. They're one-way valves. So one way, you can't, nothing goes through, and then the other way it does. The reason we put this in, like I said, over here, is we'll put it right on top, and then we'll glue it or whatever, get a tight fit. It has to be tight. You can't have any air leaking around it. We'll put it here, and then what I do with this hose, which doesn't need to be this long, you might not even want a hose, but I'm gonna do just a short piece of hose. And then when you get this in the tank and it's full of water, and you're trying to get your overflow started for the first time ever, only for the first time, what you do is you suck on this hose, pretty much sucking out any air. Now the way this overflow works is water goes in here, it goes through here, back up over that elbow, so essentially towards the outside of the tank, and then all the way down to this piece, and then right out this way. Now, why do we have these two under here? Well, that's because when we do prime it with this valve, what we're doing is we're getting water in here, we're sucking water all the way through here, and it's gonna drop into here, and that'll be, so then essentially, when this is running, obviously when this is running, all the water is gonna be this way, out the tank, this way, across, and then right at your tee. This will be just all air, okay? So let's say we have a power outage, or I need to turn my pump off for feeding or maintenance or anything like that. What's gonna happen is this one, the one inside the tank, the overflow itself, will drain to about this level. But actually, let's say, so this is your tee, it'll drain right below this level. But you will have a reservoir of water down here. Same thing over here. That retains your overflow or your siphon, sorry. That retains your siphon, and as long as you did it right the first time, which, like I said, getting the water out of there, when your pump goes off, all that, this water level drops, stays here, and then power came back on, or you plugged it back in, turned it back on, then this retains that siphon, and then essentially your tank starts filling up, it starts overflowing, and it just continues. I have this issue at my house where we lose power a lot, so this is one of the ideas that worked out for me. Now, I will give credit to Joey from King of DIY. He has an old video explaining this really well. He does a better job, so if you guys like, go check it out. It's an old video when he first started, but he explains it. Obviously, he explains it with smaller piping, but it's really educational. But so I can't take full credit. I'm doing a couple things differently my way. It could backfire on me, it could work. So we'll see when I get this running, and which it won't be on this video, but I'm showing you guys what I did to make this overflow. The reason I'm doing this is because I do not want to drill the back of my tank. This glass, too thick. I haven't drilled much glass, so like I said, I just don't want to do it. And this is actually cheaper than if I buy an overflow box. I don't know if you guys heard of those. They're online. You can get them bulk resupply, whatever. The overflow boxes, for what I would need, probably about over $200. I don't want to do that. So this was a lot cheaper. Obviously, every state, every place, the prices vary a little bit. But let me show you guys how it looks on the tank. So here we go. I'm sorry, this is all still a mess. So what I did is, and this is just something I'm trying out, but there's your standoff, and I actually faced it, coming off the tank, I faced it that way instead of in. Now, this I'm still playing with. I'm not gluing these pieces in until I know for sure this is what I want, how I want it set up. Once again, inside the tank, all you will see, give me a second. all you will see inside the tank is just these two pipes and then the overflow. Like I said, my overflow right now is just, I would say about half an inch below the rim. I'm probably gonna have to cut it, but I'd rather cut it than, have to extend it. It's a lot easier just to trim it off. So this is how it works. For the most part, if you're not using 1.5 inch piping, these actually stay pretty straight up and down, but because of the weight, it leans one way. I might show you guys later on how I fix that. Most likely, if I can't do it the way I want, I'm just gonna tape this all up to the back wall. Obviously, guys, this is the front of the tank. I'm just doing it because the back's kind of blocked. But you could tape it to the wall, keep it from moving. What I'm gonna try to do is when I come out from the overflow, I'm doing hard piping all the way down to my sumps. And when I do that, I'm gonna try to see if I can attach the plumbing to the stand itself, and then that'll keep it all nice and straight and rigid without moving. So let me show you guys in a second. I'm gonna drill this cap, which, like I said, I won't be able to actually try it out, but I will have a video later on showing if it worked, if I need to adjust something. So the cap is pretty easy. Right now I'm just using, I think it's 1/4 inch. Yeah, I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. I probably need to go bigger, but with everything else, like I said, start small and then you can go up from there. You can't always put material back on. I'm gonna try to get it as centered as possible. All right, there you go. There's my hole. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go bigger on that. And then for the check valves, I'm not gonna drill the hole yet just because I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna use these. But once again, inside of tank, my check valve will go right here. And then, which when I say check valve, I mean these. They're cheap. I might actually buy a couple more. I'm drilling right here. And then the first time only, I have to suck the air out of there. I might get some water, that's fine. But I suck the air out of there and it primes this all up. I'm not gluing these together until I know for sure this is how I want to do this. But obviously, you want to glue it together or you'll have a big mess with leaks. And after this, or once I'm done with this, I'm moving on and doing my return piping on the same video. So it's gonna be a long video, sorry guys. But I'm gonna do my return piping and I'll show you how I did that and why I did that. Here we go. So this is my return. My return is 1-inch piping. So your return is always a little bit less than your overflows because that's pressurized, so the flow of the water goes through a lot better. This is what I'm thinking of doing. It will be let me see. It'll be a spray bar going across, and then obviously comes over here. And then the reason it connects here and it goes to one, so it tees off and goes to one, is because I'm using a single pump. If I ever wanted to upgrade and get 2 pumps, or for some reason, I don't know. But if I need to upgrade, all I got to do is just chop it off there, and then I can just go to 2 pumps and still use that spray bar. Or just go a totally different route. But right now, I'm trying to use 1 pump, which I think will be plenty. And The only reason I also connected this, right, is so it helps me hang it over the tank. I know I could have just came up in one angle and then just shot out that way and then just capped it on here. But then it, then I gotta figure out how to secure the spray bar so it's level. And this way it's gonna stay level. It's hanging right off the tank. I put these fittings on. I'm not sure, I guess you can call them connectors. They all screw off. So that way if I ever need to take the spray bar off, I just unscrew it there. This piece, this whole side, all that way, just flips into the tank and then comes out. Once again, guys, this is the front of the tank. I'm just test fitting everything on the front. Once I can get this tank on that stand over there, I'll be doing everything on the back side of it. And I still gotta make these holes bigger. I might not even use the caps. If I don't use the caps, it might just be loud. But I might just make these holes. I definitely need to make these holes bigger. I know that's not gonna be enough. It's just like a standpipe that you would have in your house. It's just so air pressure and all that doesn't accumulate there. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but the standpipe always have to be, an inch, even 2 inches. I think I got about almost 2 inches from the top of this. It cannot be level or else you'll just have water coming out of here. So you have to make it come up at least, like I said, 2. I prefer 2. You can do it with, you can maybe get away with 1. Maybe on smaller piping you can do 1 inch, but you have to go up higher than where it hangs. It comes over the tank wall. But I hope this all works. I'm actually gonna probably cement this, the return. I'll cement this whole piece. Obviously I won't cement anything there because that's once it's on the stand. But I'm gonna cement all these pieces on the return side together because that's pretty much how it's gonna stay. And then, like I said before, this I'm not sure how I want it. If I want to do it return or overflow here, comes up and over, and then goes that way. Well, that can face it. Or if I want to do it like this one, where it's kind of all even with each other. I'm not sure how I want to do that, but I won't know that until I put the tank on the stand. Once I do, I'll be cementing those together also. And I'm most likely painting all this piping black. I just use regular car paint, which will hold up and it doesn't, once it's dry and cured, it won't leach anything into the water. But I'll paint them all black, that way inside you'll still see the pipes, but you won't see as much of them. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed building this. I kind of like this plumbing with the PVC. I like how it turned out. Obviously, all these pipes will be on the back side of this tank. And the next time you guys see it will probably all be painted, like I said earlier. And hopefully this weekend I can actually put this tank up on the stand and do the rest of the plumbing, just so I can water test this and get the water going and see if I need to do any changes to my filtration or the plumbing itself. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share, and see you Monday.